Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Bo. Today we're playing some Mario Kart World here to talk about the recent Nintendo Direct rumors. We have official word from Nate the Hate himself saying there will be a Nintendo Direct at the end of July, or at least in the latter half of July, which is, of course, extremely exciting. So we're going to discuss that, but we're also going to talk a little bit about the Bonanza leaks. Now, I won't actually say what the leaks are, but I just want to discuss Bonanza a little bit through the context of these leaks. I've seen some of them, but once again, I won't spoil anything in this video. And we'll also talk a little bit about the DK movie and just how, with a Nintendo Direct seemingly happening later this month, with all of the DK Bonanza leaks that I'm seeing, of course, the game actually releases in 3 days now, with a DK movie leaked by Universal. Dude, like, the future's bright right now. Not just for Donkey Kong fans. Of course, for Donkey Kong fans, it's like at, it's an all-time high right now. But also just for Nintendo fans, like, we are about to experience a great 2 weeks with Donkey Kong Bonanza, the Pokemon Presents, which I keep forgetting about, but that is happening on July 22nd, with Mario Party Jamboree TV, which, that's kind of a smaller thing, but still nice to have. And then also a Direct to end out the month. I mean, this is going to be a good 2 weeks, I'm telling you. But yeah, let's kick things off with the Nintendo Direct discussion portion of this video. So, as you can see here this morning, Nate the Hate said on his podcast with MVG that he has heard there is a Direct happening in the latter half of July. He is speculating it will be the last week of July, which I think when you look at the calendar kind of makes a lot of sense, because we have like I just said, Bonanza's this week, as well as reviews for it should drop on Wednesday, I want to say. So I think this week is pretty much, written off. We can just focus on Bonanza for the week. Next week we have the Pokemon Presents on the 22nd, so that's I think Tuesday, and then Jamboree TV is on the 24th. So they could do it next week, but with the Pokemon Presents, with Jamboree TV, I think it's way likelier it's going to end up happening on July 30th, 31st, like at the very, very end of the month. But yeah, basically, if you're new here and you're not familiar with Nate the Hate, his word is basically ironclad when it comes to Direct timings. He has not had, I would say, a notable miss in several years at this point. He was the one who said when the Switch 2 was happening, like when the reveal was happening, he's leaked many Direct dates in the past or timings in the past. So I trust him. There's been tons of speculation on some sort of July Direct, really since last month when there wasn't a June Direct like people expected. Of course, Beat 'em Ups had said something. Then there was a whole separate little controversy with him and how, like, on his podcast, he was like, actually, the Direct's this week when Bonanza is releasing, but then he had to come out and later be like, no, you just misunderstood what I said. So I don't know if Beat 'em Ups has a source. We will see if his actual list of things he said would be in it, if that will end up being true. He said, like, Death Stranding 2 and Metaphor and Animal Crossing and Pokemon Coliseum on NSO. Like, he said a lot of things were going to be there. So if he gets all that right, I mean, props to him. That'd be crazy. We will see. But I do believe Nate the Hate what he's saying, July Direct. He didn't specify what kind of Direct. I think I'm always a little bit of a pessimist when it comes to this stuff in terms of, like, maybe they'll do a partner showcase. Even though I enjoy partner showcases, I mean, I'm excited to see what third parties are cooking up for the Switch 2. What I think most Nintendo fans really want right now is a first-party Direct, though, especially if this is happening after Bonanza, because after Bonanza, we're not going to have a major new game dated, unless you count Dragon Drive and the Kirby DLC. So the week or two after Bonanza, like, that is the perfect time to do it, put some dates on these games. So that's why I do think it'll be a full general showcase. That does start begging the question, already looking ahead, like, well, what does that mean for a September Direct? I would say if we get a July 31st general Nintendo Direct, we're probably not getting anything else in the immediate future, except for maybe like a Mario presentation, if they want to do that. If they decide, like, okay, we have enough Mario news to do a separate Direct, we can do that in early September. But otherwise, I want to expect two general Directs in the span of like a month and a half. That feels, I mean, it's not impossible, but it feels unlikely to me. But I mean, in terms of the stuff we really want to talk about here and like the first party games, I think there's just so much potential for, like, just every game, I don't even know about new announcements, right? Like, there's so much to update us on that I don't even know if I would expect any major new game announcements. Maybe one, like, to close the Direct, but you can imagine this Direct opening with a Prime 4 release date and new trailer. Maybe that's September, maybe that's October, whenever. It's coming out this year. I think it's September. The fact that we don't have a September game, but we've had 2 games every month so far, that seems weird to me. So I think at the very least, we're getting Metroid Prime 4 in September, but probably also like Woolly World. I've said this a lot. We know Woolly World's coming to Switch 1. I think Woolly World would be a good fit. Give Switch on one owner something else to play after this like 6-month drought if they didn't upgrade to Switch 2, because their last game was Xenoblade, which is crazy. So I would say that Prime 4 really is like the big one that we just need to have a release date for. That feels like next up on the docket after Bonanza and after these smaller things they're doing in August with Dragon Drive and Kirby. After that, I would say the next most pressing game, I mean, we have Pokemon in October. We're getting the Pokemon Presents on July 22nd. I'm expecting that to pretty much blow that game open in terms of what's left to reveal for it. So beyond that, I would say Kirby Air Riders would be the most important one to see after Metroid Prime 4, because we know it's coming out this year and we haven't seen a second of gameplay. And if it's actually coming out this year, which I do believe it will, I have no reason to doubt Sakurai, I think it's actually going to be playable at Gamescom and at PAX West specifically, which is at the end of August, early September, right? Because Nintendo usually it shows up to PAX West, they usually have some games to demo. In previous years, that was the first time, like Echoes of Wisdom was playable, or Mario Wonder. Metroid Prime 4 has already been playable, maybe that'll be playable again, maybe Woolly World could be playable, but I think having a Kirby Air Riders demo at the end of August just makes a lot of sense for people to play, for press to play, get previews out, like we've seen in past years at PAX West, and I think Nintendo already confirmed they're at Gamescom. So Kirby Air Riders, I would say number 2 priority for me in terms of like what I really think is likely for them to like kind of blow the door open on and show us a lot of. I could even see a Kirby Direct happening later. Maybe they even straight up announce that. Like, I mean, we've seen this before with Smash where we get a Direct, they announce a character and they're like, hey, tune into a Sakurai Presents. I think it is likely. I think it is likely we will get a Sakurai Presents for Kirby Air Riders, just because, I mean, Nintendo knows we love Sakurai. They want to hype it up with him specifically. They even in the trailer, they said director Masahiro Sakurai. Like, they're wearing that on their sleeve. So I could see them giving us a new trailer for Kirby Air Riders and then say like, hey, tune in August 14th, or maybe that's a bad date because of Dragon Drive, but tune in whenever in August to a Kirby Sakurai Presents. They can show off some more Forgotten Land DLC, maybe announce Planet Robobot, but then really hone in on what Kirby Air Riders is and maybe give a release date for that game, probably in December, just because I think it has to be far enough away from the Forgotten Land DLC, but maybe it's sooner. I could be wrong. No one's really speculating Air Riders as like an October game, but is that possible? I mean, I'd certainly be down for it. I don't know. I really can't wait for that game, though. It's going to be so much fun. There's nothing scarier than being, like, you know, doing good at the end of a race in Mario Kart World, because you just know it's all going to come crashing down at any moment. Okay. Nice little first. Hyrule Warriors, I would say, I mean, I'm excited for that game. I'm currently replaying Breath of the Wild on Master Mode, going for 100% all the Koroks for the first time. I've never actually done that. Hyrule Warriors would be nice to see, and I think we will see it and get a release date for it, but I don't know how much time they really need to spend on that. Once again, that's something that can just kind of get its own trailers later on, overview trailer, that kind of thing, through Koei Tecmo. So we'll see here. We'll get a release date for it. I know they said winter, but I'm still sticking with November as the release date for that game. There's also Splatoon Raiders. This is where it starts getting a little bit trickier in terms of like, well, maybe not, but they reveal Splatoon Raiders without a release date or release year. I think they have to show it a little bit, to be honest. They could get away without showing it, and that'd be fine. But the way they announced it, to me, it's like, come on, you gotta give us a little bit more than that. We don't really even know what the game is. So I think Splatoon Raiders we will see. I still think there's a potential that game is this year. I don't know how likely that is, but I don't want to, you know, completely rule it out that Splatoon Raiders is like their big holiday game, beyond Prime, beyond Kirby. So yeah, I think Splatoon Raiders we see here. Whether or not it's 2025, though, that is I guess the big question. There's also the Switch 1 stuff that was announced in March, so Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven Groove. I could see them dating both of those. If, let's say, Rhythm Heaven is January and Tomodachi Life is like, you know, February or March, like, they could go ahead and get those dated now. They could also wait. I would say one of them, probably Rhythm Heaven, will get a release date. And then Tomodachi Life, you can save a little bit up and do a bigger trailer for closer to release, maybe. I mean, let's say it comes out in like, let's say Tomodachi Life is April next year. I mean, they could honestly, they could wait until like January to show that game again. Maybe give us some sort of small update before then on its own, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Tomodachi Life. But Rhythm Heaven, just because that game's smaller in scale, I feel like it's going to be first, I guess, on the lineup there for Switch 1 in 2026. Of course, there's all the Mario stuff. We've been speculating on like a Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition, more Switch 2 editions in general, like Pikmin 4 has been talked about a lot. I've been talking about that and Wonder in depth since they even revealed what a Switch 2 edition was. Those two games in particular, I feel like just make the most sense because they didn't get DLC to begin with. If there's enough Mario news, I think we will get a Mario Direct for the anniversary. They can kind of kick that into gear, reveal the Mario Movie 2 cast, talk about who's voicing Yoshi, maybe do a trailer for it. I mean, we're due for a trailer for that movie if it's releasing in April. They can do all the movie stuff, any other product tie-in, Lego Mario stuff they want to do. Announce Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition for like October or November. Mario Kart DLC is really interesting. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Bonanza leaks in a little bit. Once again, no spoilers here. I would say based on what I've seen in the leaks, I understand now why there wasn't Mario Kart DLC before Bonanza, because we've all been in agreement that the first Mario Kart DLC drop is going to be Donkey Kong themed, because DK and Pauline have 2 freaking skins where every other character has like 5. So like the first DLC is going to be DK themed. Having now seen a lot of what is in Bonanza, I think it makes sense that they wanted to wait until after the game releases to do that big DLC update. And I mean, they could do that in this July Direct, but even then it's too soon, I feel like. So if they do a Mario Direct in August or September, that's probably when you want to do the Mario Kart DLC and have like the first big, kind of blowout for that game post-launch, which that's exciting. I mean, this is my first time playing it since I 100%ed it like 2 weeks ago, so it's been a while since I played this game. So I really can't wait for that update to come out and give us some more costumes to unlock, characters to unlock, maybe a couple new tracks to play. I wouldn't expect too much on that front, but I mean, maybe they could do some more Donkey Kong themed tracks. Like, imagine an entire Bonanza themed track that gets added. That would be awesome. Or like, what if they go just completely insane with it and like they add the different Kong transformations as characters? Like, maybe I'm wishing too high for this DK themed DLC, but I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna go all in with the cross promotion for Bonanza and Mario Kart World, especially with I wanted to talk about this a little bit, but there is the DK movie that basically leaked through, I think it was just on the copyright website from Universal. They copyrighted an untitled Donkey Kong movie. So like, DK movie, that's something we've speculated for years now since the Mario movie came out. Just makes a lot of sense. I totally think that's happening. They're pushing Donkey Kong harder than they've ever pushed Donkey Kong before. I think with a movie, with Bonanza being their big single player game for Switch 2 this year, you're gonna do a big DLC for Mario Kart World. Like, I think it's gonna be a lot of content in that update. As for other first-party announcements in a July Direct, I mean, honestly, like, I don't... Maybe one, like, big thing, like a big 2026 tease, so to speak. I don't think there's much more for this year. If there is another game we don't know about for 2025, I really think it's probably just Splatoon Raiders, which, I mean, that'd be extremely exciting. Animal Crossing, though, 3D Mario, I think these things are further off. Animal Crossing, I would say maybe would be, like, the big one to tease here and reveal if it is coming out next year. Maybe we could finally see that weird Switch Online playtest game. I played that back last October, and that's like a new weird MMO IP thing from Nintendo, so like that'd be kind of cool to see pop up again. Duskbloods, maybe, but once again, I think that's later into 2026, so a little too early to see that. It's really just updates on what we know about, because we know about so much, we just need more concrete details on those games. People were talking about Camelot in the past couple of days because they had a statement being like, hey, we value RPGs and sports games at our studio, and then it came out that they're close on finishing a project, which, I mean, obviously, this is the longest they've gone without releasing a game, so I would hope they're close to being done. Maybe we could see them pop up. I know people are hoping for Golden Sun from them, and I love Golden Sun, but I don't know if I trust them. I know they made Golden Sun, but it's been so long. I feel like that IP would be better served at another studio, or even just maybe remake the first game first and then come up with a new one. I don't know. I want to see Golden Sun come back. I've been hoping for that since I was like 12. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of Camelot doing Golden Sun. Maybe we'll see something just off the wall random like that. Like, we weren't expecting Tamagotchi Life to pop up in the March Direct or Rhythm Heaven. So if we could see some random Nintendo IP revived in this July Direct, that'd be hype as hell. Third-party stuff, I mean, I feel like it's the same things, you know? It's just like, okay, Metaphor, Persona 3 Reload, Red Dead Redemption 2, Baldur's Gate 3. Like, there's so many heavy hitters that we still need to get. Nate the Hate said in his podcast that apparently 2/3 of devs don't have dev kits yet. Now, what does that really mean? Is he talking about all devs total? Is he talking about AAA devs? Because if you count all indie devs, then that doesn't really mean anything. I presume it's just the amount of people he's talked to, right? And they're saying, okay, well, we don't have one, and then one person does. So I don't know how big his sample size is or what, but he's saying that 2/3 of devs don't have dev kits, but a lot of the AAA publishers do, seemingly. We're seeing more indie stuff pop up, and D Creates announced a new game for Switch 2 coming out in October. That looks pretty cool. My biggest hope in terms of third party for every Direct moving forward is going to be Final Fantasy XIV. I am going to lose myself. I'm going to lose myself when Final Fantasy XIV comes to Switch 2, because I've played a lot of that game on PC and on PS5, and I tried playing it on my Portal, and sometimes the PS Portal works. I think it's a better, you know, handheld product cloud streaming device than people give it credit for, but also there are times where like it just doesn't work quite too right. Like I was doing a raid one time in that game, which, you know, these dungeons take a while, and like, dude, the like lag and like the bit rate just completely collapses. You'll lose connection mid boss fight or something, and then it's like, okay, well, this isn't gonna work for me. So if we can get Final Fantasy XIV natively on Switch 2, dude, oh my, I'm gonna put so many hours into that game. I'm gonna lose myself to Final Fantasy XIV. So I want to see that. There were rumors about Dragon Quest VII Remake. That came out of nowhere because we still haven't gotten 1 and 2. That's coming out in October. But yeah, there were these rumors, and I think Jason Schreier actually kind of backed them up about a Dragon Quest VII Remake being announced soon for 2026. I mean, sure, dude. Yeah, hell yeah. I'll absolutely be excited for that. I've never played 7. I know I've heard it's a bit of a grind, but you know what? I don't really care, dude. Count me in for that. Like, I would be so in for a DQ7 remake. I mean, just keep doing all of them, you're right? If we're never going to get 12, you might as well just keep remaking every single Dragon Quest game in the meantime. But other than the expected ports, I'm not really sure what else I'm wanting to see from third parties. You know, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, that's going to be cool, but we just need to get through like this first onslaughts of you know, ports we've been expecting, and then I think next year, you know, maybe even 2 years from now, that third-party conversation becomes way more interesting, because ultimately I do think basically everything's going to come over. It's just a matter of time and getting those ports ready. Ubisoft is one that we really haven't seen much of. I think they would be a big one in this direct for sure. Just like, okay, here's like 8 Assassin's Creed games, here's a Far Cry game, here's The Division, like just a bunch of stuff from them I could see popping up. So yeah, July Direct, very exciting stuff. I did also want to quickly touch on all of the Bonanza leaks. I'm not going to actually cover them in depth here, no spoilers, but dude, I'm so excited for this game. I've been excited for it, obviously, this entire time. I was a little bit more lukewarm on it when it was announced, but then when the direct happened, I've been on that hype train ever since. And the fact that we're going to be playing it in like 2 days is, I mean, dude, I cannot wait. Like, I don't know if it's going to quite reach the heights of Odyssey for me, but based on what I'm seeing in the leaks, like, they cooked. They absolutely cooked. If you are a Donkey Kong fan, this is a game made for you. As far as I can tell, it's some, like, Chinese leaker that's playing through the game and, like, sharing his progress. I don't know if they've gotten to the post-game yet or, like, in-game. What I'm really curious about now is, like, how much content is going to be there, because Mario Odyssey, like, there was so much to do after you beat that game. Once you got to Mushroom Kingdom and then you go back and you start doing, you know, Darker Side and all that, like, there was so much extra content in Odyssey. I have no doubt that that's there for Bonanza, but I want to see, like, how hard is it? How hard are these, like, challenge rooms that you go in to do all of them? I mean, that's going to be, like, the real 100% grind that I'm spending most of my time with in that game, so I want to know just how extensive that ends up being. Like, how many costumes are there, right? Like, these things are what I'm excited for, but everything I've seen from the leaks and just obviously leading up to the launch, like, this game, it looks like a dream. Like, it just looks better and better every time we see it. So, I mean, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to do a video on, I think on Wednesday, actually. Review should be going up on Wednesday, but also if you buy it through the Japanese eShop, you get it Wednesday morning. So I don't know if I'll even do a video on the reviews. We will see. I might just do a video playing the game because I'm so excited for it, but between the directs, between Pokemon Presents, between Bonanza coming out and being the Donkey Kong game of our dreams, between all these things happening all at once at the end of July, like, the future is bright. You know, it's been kind of quiet. I understand the pessimism around Switch 2 a little bit. Not for me. I've been, you know, having a blast playing all these random games, but the next couple of weeks are going to be awesome, and then that's going to give us the roadmap for the remainder of the year, which hopefully just continues the momentum after Bonanza, and it's just nonstop. I know August is going to be a little bit quieter for most people because of Dragon Drive and Kirby, you know, being DLC, probably not too substantial. But once we get to September, I really think it's going to be just nonstop banger new releases. I mean, even Pokemon Legends EA, like that, I mean, Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game on Switch, one of my favorite Pokemon games ever. We're getting a sequel to that. Kind of easy to forget that because it was announced so long ago. But that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed in the comments down below. And until next time, folks, peace.